Alright, in this video we're going to explore a couple of additional differentiation rules. We'll also review the power rule and then do some examples. So the summing difference rule tells us that if we have two functions that we're adding or subtracting, let's suppose f of x plus g of x or f of x minus g of x, and we want to find the derivative of this combination of functions. So I'm going to write a little prime here for each of these two expressions, saying that we want to find the derivative or the instantaneous rate of change of a sum or a difference of two functions. For the sum, it's just going to be the derivative of each individual function, of each of the individual functions added together. So f prime of x plus g prime of x. And for the difference, it's the same. We take the derivatives of each function individually and then we subtract. So it's very straightforward. This can be proved going back to the definition. I'm not going to prove the sum difference, but to give you the flavor of one of the proofs, I will prove the constant multiple rule. And then we'll apply them. So the constant multiple rule says the following. Let's suppose that we're taking the derivative of c times f of x, where c, so we'll let c be a real number. That means it is in the set of real numbers that I denote with a double bar r. It means it can be any constant, any scalar. And I'm taking the derivative of the constant times the function, then that becomes the constant times the derivative of the function. So the constant stays and it just multiplies the derivative. Let's just see how we can prove this going back to the definition of the derivative. So you might recall that the derivative of a function is the limit as h approaches 0 of the difference quotient, f of x plus h, minus f of x over h. Now, if we suppose that our function, that we're taking the derivative of, let's say g of x is c times f of x, and we want the derivative of a constant times f. All right, so let's do that. So g prime of x is going to be the limit, by definition, as h approaches 0 of g of x plus h minus g of x over h. There's our difference quotient. But we know what g looks like. It's c times some other function f. So I'm going to go ahead and plug that in. That's going to give me the limit as h approaches 0, c times f of x plus h. Since g is cf of x, g of x plus h will be c times f of x plus h. And g of x is c times f of x all over h. In the numerator, we can factor out, we still have the limit, we're not going to take that until the very end, but in the numerator, we can factor out c to obtain f of x plus h minus f of x. And all of this is over h, but I can just write that over h, and that's the same thing. Now, this value of c, this constant, does not depend on h getting small, arbitrarily small. It doesn't depend on h approaching 0 because it's just a number. So I can actually pull that number out of the limit and rewrite this as c times the limit as h approaches 0 of f of x plus h minus f of x over h. And we can see that now this expression, that's just the derivative of f. So this is equal to c times f prime of x. So right now this doesn't mean too much to you probably, but when we take the derivative of a constant times a function, we can just factor out the constant and take the derivative of the function. That's what that's saying. And I think with a few examples, it will make a lot more sense. Before we do our examples, let's recall the power rule. The power rule was in the previous video, and this applies to power functions. So if f of x is a function of the form x to the power of n, then the derivative f prime of x will be that power in And the exponent comes down and we'll multiply x and then we subtract 1 from the exponent. And that is the power rule. Now, let's apply these 3 rules to a couple of 3 examples. In the first example, the way that we're applying the rules, you can think of this function f of x as a sum of 3 specific functions: x cubed, 7x, and 1. And so we're basically applying the first rule that tells us you can take the derivative of a sum by taking the derivatives of each individual part. Also, here in 7x, you can see that we have a constant times a function, so we're also going to be applying the constant multiple rule. So when we take the derivative, the first term, x cubed, the derivative of x cubed, we can use the power rule. We know that we can bring down the exponent from x. I'm going to have 3x, and then subtract 1 from 3, from the exponent from the original exponent. That'll give us 3x squared. Now, by the constant multiple rule, when we take the derivative of 7x, 7 is like our c, so that's just going to be 7 times the derivative of x. The derivative of x is just 1. Remember that that's the line y equals x that has a slope of 1. So this is just 7 times 1. And plus the derivative of a constant, the derivative of 1 is just going to be 0. Recall that a constant is just a horizontal line, and the derivative of any horizontal line is 0. And so our derivative, our solution here is f prime of x equals 3x squared plus 7. And we applied all 3 rules. We applied the power rule, we applied the constant multiple rule, and the sum rule, or sum difference rule. Let's try another example. So here we have g of x is 4x squared minus 3 over x plus 17. And I'm going to rewrite the function first before differentiating so that I can use rules of exponents and rewrite 3 over x. That way I'll be able to apply the power rule to that term. So I'm going to rewrite it so that we have it in pink. This is the original function rewritten. I'm going to write g of x is 4x squared. And instead of minus 3 over x to the first power, we can bring the x in the denominator using a negative exponent. Bring it to the numerator using a negative exponent. By the way, I put the rules of exponent in our week 3 folder in Blackboard. So you can take a look at that. And plus 17. So all I've done, I have not taken the derivative, but I've rewritten the function so that I can take the derivative of each of the 3 terms individually, apply my sum difference rule, and also apply my constant multiple and power rules. So now we're ready to take the derivative term by term. For 4x squared, 4 is the constant. When we take the derivative of x squared, we can apply the power rule. That will just be 2x. Notice that my 4 will be multiplying the 2x. Here I've applied the constant multiple rule. And the derivative of x squared is 2x because of the power rule. And we'll simplify in a little bit. For the second term, we have a negative 3 as our constant, so I'm applying the constant multiple rule. And I'm going to apply the power rule to x to the negative 1. So negative 1 will come in front, and we'll eventually multiply the negative 3. Then I have an x, and I'm going to do negative 1 minus 1 using the power rule, where we subtract 1 from our exponent. And then finally, the derivative of 17, that's a constant. That means 17 is just a flat line whose slope is 0. So let's simplify this a little, or clean it up a little bit, so that g prime of x will be, our first term is 4 times 2x, so that gives us an 8x. Then negative 3 times negative 1 will be plus 3x to the negative 2. And this is perfectly fine. You can also rewrite x to the negative 2 as 3x to the negative 2 as 3 over x squared. I don't have enough space here. Wait, I can make some space. Hold on, I think I've learned how to do this. There. Let me make a little space so I can rewrite that. And so our g prime of x can also be written as 8x plus 3 over x squared. And here I have only applied rules of exponents. And my third example is find dy dx. Again, that means the derivative for the following function. Again, we have 3 terms, so we can differentiate each term individually. And like I did in example 2, I'm going to rewrite this so it's a little bit easier to apply the 3 rules that we've talked about. So I have y equals x to the 2/5. I'm going to leave that as is. But for 2 over x cubed, I am going to bring x cubed up to the numerator as x to the negative 3. And I'm going to rewrite the square root of x as x to the 1/2. So just a quick little note here about roots. When you have the nth root of a to the mth power, that is the same thing as writing a to the m over n. So we can always write roots as fractional exponents, where the root is the denominator of the fraction in the exponent, and the power is the numerator of the fraction in the exponent. Again, I'm going to move this down a little bit. And now we're ready to differentiate now that I've rewritten the function. So dy dx, which is the same as y prime, the derivative will be applying the power rule to differentiate x to the 2/5 will give me 2/5 x to the 2/5 minus 1. And it's going to look a little bit weird how I write this, but in order for me not to make any mistakes, when I subtract 1, I write 1 in the form of 5 over 5, in this case, whatever denominator I have here. It'll be easier for me then to subtract fractions. So when I did 2/5 minus 1, I'm writing that as 2/5 minus 5/5. Now for the second term, we have a plus 2. Applying the power rule to x to the negative 3 will bring the negative 3 to the front, then x, and then when we subtract 1 from negative 3, I have negative 3 minus 1. And then for the third one, I have a minus. The 1/2 comes in front using the power rule, x. And when we subtract 1 from 1/2, I'm going to write this as minus 2/2, so I can have a common denominator and combine those fractions. So simplifying this a little bit, we're going to have dy dx equals 2/5 x to the 2/5 minus 5/5 is negative 3/5. Then for the next term, 2 times negative 3 is minus 6. And then we have x to the negative 4. And for the third term, we have a minus 1/2 x to the negative 1/2, because a half minus 2/2 is negative 1/2. And so this is a perfectly acceptable solution for the derivative. We can use our rules of exponents if we want to rewrite some of these terms, but you don't have to do that. I'm going to use the root rule that I just explained, but I'm also going to use the fact that, I'm going to write it in yellow, that x to the negative n power is the same as 1 over x to the nth power. So a negative exponent moves the term from the numerator to the denominator and vice versa. And so rewriting this final problem, we'll have dy dx. We could write the first term as 2 over 5. X to the negative 3/2 can come down to the denominator's x to the positive 3/2, and that also means in the denominator the 5th root of x to the 3rd, applying this property. Now we have a negative exponent in x to the negative 4, so I can bring that to the denominator as x to the positive 4. And in the third term, I'm going to leave 1 in the numerator. I have a 2 in the denominator and x to the negative 1/2. Since it's a negative power, we can bring it to the denominator with a positive exponent. And then also use the fact that raising to the 1/2 power is the same thing as taking the square root of x. Again, using our rules of exponents. And so this is another way in which you might write the derivative of this function in the third example.